Welcome back. Former President Donald Trump is reportedly mulling over when exactly he should announce a presidential run for 2024, a decision that has become even more pressing, we're told, as he tries to reclaim control of his image following a spate of damaging revelations by the House Select Committee investigating his role in the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol attack.
It is reported that over the past week, Trump has told associates he is eager to launch another presidential campaign as early as this month to capitalize on President Joe Biden's increasingly dismal poll numbers and put his potential GOP rivals on notice. But his desire to expedite a campaign announcement, ditching previous plans to wait until after the November midterm elections, grew even deeper after former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson raised serious questions in a televised congressional hearing this week about Trump's behavior during the final months of his first term. Some Trump allies have privately admitted that the House committee's public hearings have proven more damaging than expected, as congressional investigators continue to air snippets of sworn testimony from current and former Trump advisors, undermining his false claims about the 2020 elections and raising new questions about his potential legal jeopardy. It is reported that in recent days, some of Trump's advisors have been reaching out to his closest allies to let them know that the former president is seriously considering an earlier than expected announcement.
Dr. Peter Sherrill is a former U.S. writer in presidential candidate. Apologies for that. He joins us now. Apologies for messing that up. But thanks for joining us, Dr. Sherrill. Let's just start with your sense of what determines what will be the best strategic time to make such an announcement for a presidential run in 2024. As I say, timing is everything. What does the former U.S. president have to consider here?
Well, first, thank you for having me on and to talk about this very serious topic. I would probably concur that after the midterm elections, which we might see the Democrats lose the House and the Senate, then I'm almost certain after those results come in, he will definitely announce his candidacy for presidency in 2024.
As I mentioned in the introduction, that it's been said that the decision has now become even more pressing because he's trying to reclaim control of his image following those revelations at the House Select Committee investigating his role. Just how damaging do you see that being, and how will running rescue his brand?
Yeah, Ms. Hutchinson's bombshell testimony the other day was alarming, really unbelievable, but true. And even more so, the DOJ's, the attorneys from the Department of Justice, their testimony really implicates Trump and various other high-level ranking officials in this, I would call it, seditious conspiracy that they have charged the oath keepers and the Proud Boys with, because as you've seen in Ms. Hutchinson's testimony, this was orchestrated from the beginning. And so that is very damaging, but herein lies the dichotomy. The American people, at least that support Trump, the 75 million that voted for him in 2024, will probably vote for him again in 2020, will probably vote for him again in 2024, regardless of the damning evidence and testimony.
And I want to talk about the testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson. There have been suggestions that that was influenced. Do you believe that? But I also want to get into the questions that were raised about Trump's behavior during the final months of his tenure. What exactly is he being accused of doing? Because they've been very deft at sidestepping the connection between what happened, the attack on Capitol Hill, and President Trump himself. I mean, we know some of the exposés that came out, whether it's through recordings or books that have been launched, but if we're going to say it's irrefutable evidence of complicity of Donald Trump and whether or not he is fit to stand as a candidate in the U.S. presidential elections, what exactly is being laid at his feet?
I think as far as complicity, you would probably have to lean more towards the testimony of the DOJ attorneys, where they outlined how he was going to appoint this environmental lawyer to be the head of the Department of Justice. And if it was not for these gentlemen, Donahue and the rest of the other two gentlemen, but the other deputy attorney general standing fast and basically telling Donald Trump that every attorney general in the Department of Justice would resign if they appointed Clark as the new head of the DOJ. That was the only thing that stopped him from doing that, which Clark was ready to circulate this letter saying that this election has some concerns and was fraud, and he was ready to circulate this letter to all these swing state and Republican state electors and the fake electors. That is damaging. That is a direct undermining of the democracy, or I might say alleged democracy of the United States of America, because it is under serious danger of being negated totally by the Republican Party. At this point, well, I'm not even Republican Party, the Trump Party, as they call it, Trump world. So I would say more so the DOJ's testimony will probably lead more to complicity. Mrs. Hutchison's testimony will address more of the actual seditious conspiracy aspects of this January 6th attempt to overthrow the government of the United States of America.
All right. Now, there are sources who say that it's unlikely that Trump would make such an announcement without alerting the press to ensure that there's maximum coverage. And there are also multiple sources who say, granted anonymity, that they'd speak candidly and closely about those discussions, but they say they're likening the environment surrounding his 2024 decision to his first presidential campaign as chaotic and unorganized, with little understanding of who or other than Trump himself is in charge. Do you concur that this is what's going on behind the scenes?
Well, what we are seeing, unfortunately, in this country is basically the foundation of this country. This has always been there. This country has always been teetering on the brink of this type of insurrection. And never has it been organized to this level or degree that has taken place under the auspices of Donald Trump. So this is what somebody said to me. This in 2020 was a test run. If he runs, or when he decides to run in 2024, they have the states already who have changed the voting laws in their states where the Republicans mostly control all of the state legislatures in this country, and they have the power now to overturn any election that they decide for whatever reason. If they don't like the outcome, they can overturn any election. Given that, at this point in time, even though they're the minority party, if they take over the House and if they take over the Senate in 2022, this country is basically going to be an authoritarian, totalitarian, and a dictatorship under the Trump regime, much like Vladimir Putin, his cohort in crime.
All right. Dr. Peter Sherrill, thank you so much for your time. And just to correct that, so he is a former write-in presidential candidate. Much appreciated for your time and your insights, and I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to talk about this at a further stage. Right now, a quick look at something else.